Okay, this again, this is for Project 5. This is the outline here. So when we're here and we talk about this, we've got, it can be, a lot of it can be found in chapter 7 or 8. And I would suggest that you start by um, either looking in the book if you haven't already, or just do a quick Google search about all 5 or 4, there's really 5, but I'll get into that, 4 of these major topics. And then choose the one that you find most interesting. So we've got the upper or the lower rebellion, or the Confederation, or the Métis Rebellion. And there's two Métis rebellions. There's the Northwest and there's the Red River. So we've got the Upper Canada Rebellion, the Lower Canada Rebellion, the Confederation of Canada, or the Red River Rebellion, or the Northwest Rebellion. So there's 5 different topics there. Within those, once you've chosen one of these, like let's say you choose Confederation, and you choose Confederation, then you should choose an event or person or treaty or issue surrounding the Confederation. Your process should be to find first which of the 4 topics interest you the most, and then which you choose an area, and then research that, just the same as you did for Project 3 and Project 4. Now, there's a couple people that are a little curious about what I mean by this. So when we start with this and we go to, there's all 5 topics. That's the kind of, we're starting with the history of Canada there. Now, if you had to, you're going to dial in a little bit and you're going to pick your specific topic. So for this, let's say it's the Confederation. So if we take Confederation or the Red River Rebellion, depending on which one you choose, or Upper or Lower Canada, it doesn't matter to me, but this is one of those, this would be one of those topics. So I want you to dial in even closer and know and tell the story, all of it, through this person. So I don't need you to know everything about this because it's too big. It's way too big. The Confederation is too big of a topic. The Red River Rebellion is too big of a topic. I need you guys to understand everything through the person you chose or the issue you chose. So let's choose Louis Riel, or let's choose Louis Papignon, or William Mackenzie, or you can choose John A. MacDonald if you're doing the Confederation. So when you're choosing this and you choose Louis Riel here, you can start to dive in and tell your story through and how Louis Riel affected your bigger topic, which is the Red River Rebellion. The Red River Rebellion also affected him, and there's different parts of the Red River Rebellion that affected him. So as we keep on going, and you can see that different things start to affect him. So you tell your story about how things affecting him and how he affected those things, and this is what your story is told through. So again, you're telling your story through your main character. However, you know if you know black amounts, you know gray amount of the Red River Rebellion. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky, and this kind of what separates that 80s from 100. Um, as we continue on, the Red River Rebellion was impacted by Confederation. The Confederation was impacted by the Upper and Lower Canada Rebellion. So nothing really in Canada is individual, and there's always bigger factors. And again, you can put a bigger circle around this one, and there would be arrows coming in and coming out. So you talk briefly about what caused the rebellion, and then you talk more condensed about how that affected your character, and you talk a lot about your character. Your person thought this, your person thought that, etc., etc., etc. So remember, do not attempt to do the whole thing. Pick something within there, an issue or a person or an idea, and attack it from that way. Second, so when we go through, we're talking about jot notes. So when we go to Project 4 jot notes, you can see how there's explanations, and there's questions here, and these cause questions, and those lead to other things. When we talk about the rubric, the rubric this year, or this project for Project 5, will it gives you marks for having um, one or two words per jot notes. So how you do this is, again, it can't be a question either. So you eliminate these question marks. and you go to, when you go to battles, you delete that and you just talk about battles. So battles, what caused the battles? You can just put cause. And then when you're back here, battles are caused by, then who is important? Important people. So you put that. And then you can put change or question mark, or this could be a little bit better as well, because you can put change, you can put, go to definitions. What was the 7 Years' War? So you can go 7, you can change this to 7 Years' War, and essentially 7 years becomes one word here. I know this is kind of cheating, but again, 7 Years' War you can't really get around, but that's kind of the one exception, right? And there are a few exceptions to every rule, but this is kind of one of those things. If you had to go, mandatory, was it, or there's a better word for mandatory, and then again you go back to cause, and then you go, did a country cause it? But that's back to cause. So you can see how we're starting to limit a lot of these things. So when we go down James Wolfe, when we're talking about James Wolfe, we go to travel, we go to how early life, because we're talking about James Wolfe, so we didn't need know any of this. We can talk about all of this. Again, these are kind of just fact-finding questions. When did he die would be talked about where in his death. Childhood. Again, he talks about how did he die, how old was he when he died, was all talked about when he died. So you just get rid of these question marks. And now we have jot notes. So alliances. So were there any alliances? Well, if there's not, then I don't know why you're talking about them. So how many would be your first question. And you can put this as, instead of help, you can put benefit. So that our jot notes changes to these very specific things. So now we need a PowerPoint. Now this PowerPoint, with your video, let's go talk about this first, and then I'll talk more about the PowerPoint. For your assessments, if you go to rubrics, you can see this yourself. Go to presentation 5, go to preview presentation 5. This will bring this up. Your research. 5, if you use a variety of acceptable websites. Again, Google is not an acceptable website because Google is a search engine, not a website that gives answers. It gives you links to answers, not answers. Even if it gives you an answer, like a definition, it got that from a link from somewhere, so you need to follow the link and give me that link. If you use a minimum, there's a big difference this year or this project. 5 points for doing it right, 1 point for doing it wrong. This is essentially your 4th project doing it in the same way, so I expect a little bit more. Animations were used in the PowerPoint presentation. Let's go through this a little bit. Animations or pictures were used to add to the presentation, weren't there for decoration, did not cause a distraction to the PowerPoint. PowerPoint had maximum 7 words per slide, including the title, and followed the jot notes. So if it doesn't follow the jot notes, if it has more than 7 words per slide, if it has anything like this, then you shouldn't have it. We don't, and I'll get into that right now. There's the bell. It's lunchtime here, just so you understand. So when we talk about this, when we go back to jot note 4, when we talk about, let's say wolf is our presentation. So our title, wolf. Wolf in the 7 Years' War. That's 2, 4, 6 words on our title slide. So we go up to here. This is on Google Slides. So you just go Google. If you Google Slides, it brings you to Google Slides, and then you can just go from there. So when we go to title and body, and we'll insert a new slide, as you can see, it's up here where this plus. If you just add plus, you can go and change a whole bunch of things. So you can change the background as well. You can do all this, but again, as long as it's not distracting, it's okay. If I wanted to add a picture and I went to James Wolfe up here and I Googled James Wolfe, and I wanted a picture of James Wolfe. So let's take this very first one, Major James or General Wolfe. So I go save image. I'm going to copy this image. I'm going to put it up here. And if I paste this image, I'm hoping this works. Yeah. So you can see that it kind of overlaps, my words, right? If I bring to front, so now that the 7 years, you see how the black doesn't really play well on this picture? You can't really see it. So Wolfe and the 7 Years' War, you would lose a mark for this because you can't see the 7 Years' War. If you put a blue background, your Wolfe and the 7 Years' War, it's a little bit better. But again, is this really adding to your, so I don't think this would really hurt or help you, but the point of this is that when you go to here and you can edit it, you can change these, you can move the picture around, you can, sorry, my computer froze. You can edit it and you can move it around and you can change it that way. But if it's not adding to your presentation, don't put it in. Don't just put a picture in just for picture's sake. I'll go back to the PowerPoint when I go to here and I go to new title, new body, and I click the title and we go back to the jot notes. And I'm going to put explanations and I copy this, and you can literally copy it and paste it. It shows up a little weird, so we're just going to type X. That's spelled wrong, isn't it? Anyways. So we go back to here and we go battles, causes, important people. So we write battles, and then we write causes, and then we write important people. And that's our slide. You see how when we put this, there's a lot of white space over here. This is a great place for a picture. So when you have a picture or a map would be fantastic, especially something to jot your memory. So if you don't know what battles you want to talk about, put them here because you still have 3 words to talk about. If you wanted to talk about Quebec, you talk about right there. If you talk about causes and you put fur trade, we're now at 7 words. So explanations 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're actually at 8. So I've removed the fur trade and put it something else. Or you could just change this to people. You could go back to and put the fur trade up there. Anyways, you get my point. So we add more slides and we copy more definitions. When we put that there and we put James Wolfe, and as we copy this, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then a new slide 8, 9, 10, 11. So we're going to need a couple pictures there, some design there. Again, I don't care about the transitions. I don't care about, as long as there's some pictures. I don't care how good those pictures are as long as they relate back to the content. You don't get the benefit of presenting this PowerPoint. I want to see that you understand how to take those jot notes and put them onto a PowerPoint, and those jot notes / PowerPoint, that PowerPoint or those jot notes guide you through your presentation. So when we ever have to give a PowerPoint presentation in class, like we did at the beginning of the year, you don't need notes because all of your notes are on the PowerPoint. You don't need paragraphs on there that you're standing up there and reading because all you get is 7 words. That's what I'm marking on this time. So again, your voice not put into, let's go back to the rubric. Your voice is not put over this PowerPoint. You need your face, and this time it is your face, your eyes, your nose, and your mouth, because we had a couple people that just put their voice over top of their eyes. So it sounded recorded, which was very odd. If you have a problem with this and this doesn't work for you, then come present to me after school sometime and we'll find a time to do that. So that's your PowerPoint. When we talk about on-time punctuality marks, 5 points if you're handed in on or before March 23rd at 11:59 p.m. As soon as the clock goes to 24th, timed, because everything is time stamped on Gmail, so I can see when it's handed in. If it says the 24th, it's late. Period. The end. If you're worried about it, if you're saying, well, what happens if I couldn't upload this, then do it a day earlier or 2 days earlier. But it's marked on the 23rd. On the 20 on the If it's after the 23rd, you get 1 point instead of 5. So 5 points for handing it in on time, 1 point for handing it in late. If it's handed in after March 30th or was already marked and then you hand something in, you get 0 points for punctuality because it wasn't punctual. Video. Video was handed in through Google Drive or posted without editing, posted on YouTube. Cannot have editing. It must be a single take. So if there's you were talking about something and then it jumps, you're not going to get this point. Your mouth and your eyes are shown in the video. You're not reading anything, and you need to, if you're going to mark, if you want to do the video and you don't want to do the eyes and mouth, if you don't want to record your eyes and mouth, then you have to talk to me about this before. This rubric has been up about a week, by the way. You have to talk to me before the 23rd or else it's late. The mind map explains the process, same thing as before. The jot notes, 1 to 2 words per jot note, and it was clear that the presentations followed the jot notes. So 5 points for that. Presentation, you get 10. I want a story this time. I do not want facts. I do not want, I want you to understand this issue so well that you can tell a story about this, and this is interesting, and this is, it's not just how did he die? He died this person, and then he was born here, and then he did this. That's not how you tell the story of you and your parents and your life together. You tell it as a story. You don't say, we moved from Calgary to Australia, and then we moved back, and then my dad worked as an engineer, and my mom did this, and then we moved here, and then I took it's not, you're just listing facts. You don't understand the whole concept of the thing. So that's the rubric, that's the jot notes, that's the PowerPoint, and remember, do not do the whole concept. Pick one certain thing within it, like the circle thing that I talked about in the beginning. Sorry this is so long, 18 minutes, that's a heck of a long video. Thanks for watching. I will put up an exemplar for a presentation, an exemplar for a mind map, that this is what I'm looking for 100%. Hope that helps. Thanks.